Hi, my name is Noah Eaton, and today I will be talking about why the federal minimum wage should not be increased. First of all, there would be a big decrease in business prosperity. By increasing the minimum wage, businesses would have to increase their budgets in order to pay their employees. Um, Without being able to increase their budget, they would have to end up laying off employees in order to stay under their budget. While this may not cause like multi-billion dollar corporations, this would affect many small businesses throughout the country. Now, small businesses are categorized as a business with 500 or fewer employees. There are about 30.2 million small businesses in the US that employ over 59 million Americans. This makes up about 99.7% of businesses in the US. Right? This is most of the workforce in the United States. Losing some of these workers would be detrimental to the economy and would take away hundreds of thousands of jobs throughout the country. In fact, the Congressional Budget Office estimated that a minimum wage increase of $7.25 an hour to $10.10 an hour would result in a loss of 500,000 jobs. This would put 500,000 more people into a competitive job hunt because the businesses are having to lay off employees, and it could lead to a decrease in production and even closure of many businesses. Many small businesses would die if the minimum wage was increased, as it is projected most businesses would have to lay off half of their employees and close different locations throughout the country. In fact, the last time the minimum wage was increased, Walmart had to close several stores and cancel stores that were planned to open. This hurt the company as they had to slowly start working themselves back up. Increasing the minimum wage would also increase poverty. Many people feel that increasing the minimum wage would actually decrease poverty, as that is the main goal of increasing the minimum wage, but it's actually the opposite. Because of basic economics, it is known that if wages increase, the cost of production increases. Then if the cost of production increases, then the higher the prices of goods and services are. And then the higher the goods and services are, the smaller quantity of goods and services are demanded, and therefore the number of employees to produce those goods are lower. Basically, all of this causes more unemployment and poverty throughout the country. All right. For example, the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland found out that basically, if an employee's hours of employment decline, the combined effect on these changes is a decline in their income. So basically, if you think that workers would make more money per hour than they make more money, this is actually not the case, because their hours would then decline, and then the combined effect of these changes would then actually decline their income. This basically ultimately increases the amount of Americans below the poverty line, increasing poverty throughout the country. Finally, increasing the minimum wage actually increases the price in consumer goods. It is common sense to know that if you increase the price of having to pay your employees, then in order to do that, you will have to increase the price of consumer goods to be able to fit that in the budget, right? And although this might not be the case for those multi-million dollar corporations like Google and Microsoft, places like that, it is the case for all the small businesses throughout the country. And earlier, as I said, small businesses, they employ 59 million Americans throughout the country, basically the heart of the workforce. And many of these small businesses have to pay their employees minimum wage in order to get by and make profit. If the minimum wage increases, then these small businesses will have to therefore increase the price of their goods and services, then leading to price inflation throughout the country. A lot of this is through the lower and middle class workers. So it is to increase the minimum wage. It's supposed to help these lower and middle class workers but by doing this, it actually hurts them. Reasons being that the lower and middle class workers spend more on the goods and services produced by minimum wage workers than the wealthy do. So when the price inflates of the goods, therefore the poor people end up having to pay more for their goods and services or necessities such as that. Fast food is a big one. Basically, in Chicago, they ended up raising the minimum wage to $10. This increased the price of coffee by 6.7%. Now, this doesn't only affect coffee, but a lot of other consumer goods and chains. And they actually found out that fast food restaurants would pass almost 100% of their increased labor costs onto consumers, and many other firms may do the same, as this not only affects the prices of fast food items, but consumer goods as well. Basically, there are many different aspects of raising the minimum wage, whether it's slowly over time or quickly during a short period. Ultimately, raising the minimum wage would have a detrimental effect on many American citizens, especially those of the lower class. Not only will raising the minimum wage increase poverty and the price of consumer goods, but it will also ruin many businesses, jobs, and opportunities throughout the country. By following the laws of common sense and economics, there will only be a downward spiral of destruction and inflammation throughout our economy.